What's up, YouTube? I've shot videos, but I haven't really posted them in a while. They've been very highly personal videos. But anyway, I'm going through a lot in my life as far as changes I never thought could happen, and I don't do good with abandonment, anyway. So even when my wife would go to see her family for a weekend, or 4 or 5 days, because I suffer with borderline shit. Hold on. Because I suffer with borderline personality disorder, is always, that's a difficult thing, and now she has left me. Not only has she left me, but she cheated on me, and the way she left me was in a very terrible way. Still, we're married. I mean, we were together for 13 years, and I'm still in a weird place. She moved out. We just had bought our dream house, and anyway, I'm just trying to be there for her still, anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not gonna go into details, but I'm gonna shoot this video. Man, it feels freaking crazily good out here. It's 65 degrees. I didn't realize that I need to wear a sweater, but yeah. So I have a lot of friends too going through stuff, and I didn't realize just how bad it is out there. This is something I never thought I'd ever face. I was very codependent, and a lot of people say I just need to find myself, and I'm just working on what path I want to try to take. So I'm trying to be there for my wife that cheated on me and moved out in a friendship capacity, make sure that she's comfortable with somehow these fleeting glimpses of reconciliation. I mean, she doesn't want to be back together at this point. I don't think anything's ruled out for the future, but as it stands right now, I got to move forward, period. And it's very lonely feeling. So I found some friends that I talk to, and it helps me through it. But anyway, I've got friends that are dealing with addiction. I wanted to talk a little bit about addiction, and I had a friend, I think on an earlier video that you guys probably, about opiate addiction, and who had passed away from an overdose. It's an epidemic in this country, and the mental health of the people excuse me, people that suffer with mental health issues from trauma, childhood or otherwise, a lot of times their spouses or significant others and families will suffer as well from those. They become the kind of silent victims that eventually they break down, and I am not above that. I mean, I take culpability that my wife, I definitely wasn't emotionally very supportive. Definitely, as far as husbands go, wasn't in the top 10 percentile, but I wasn't the worst. It's definitely stuff we could have worked on, and I was getting a lot better. And going about it the way she did, and not talking to me, and then cheating and lying, definitely wasn't the way that I wanted it to go. But anyway, people are out there, and I guess in a relationship, I want to talk a little bit about that. I grew up in a abusive household, and suffered a lot of different types of abuse, neglect, emotional abuse, physical abuse, a lot of exposure to that as well, a lot of abandonment. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that. I may do a live session at some point to talk that out. But there's a lot of women out there who are dealing with a lot of men that I know that are dealing with problems and addiction. And my mom was almost killed by a man, and in the beginning he was great and she loved him, but drugs or mental chemical imbalances can cause people to do things that they otherwise wouldn't do. I mean, even murderers, are people, and a lot of them anyway, I guess, like, I know I'm kind of scattered as usual, but as far as the relationships go, sometimes you just gotta know when to go. Like, and you know, my mom, like, she just, several times she just had to go, and sometimes it was for her, you know, sometimes, you know, because she wasn't in love. But a lot of the men that she dated, unfortunately, were very great in the beginning, and they suffered with their demons, and she suffered from staying with them, and we suffered from her staying with them. And it's always hard to know when to go, you know, like, there's no, like, manual for this shit. Life doesn't come with a manual, and it's just like, you try to think of these vibrations and, like, hope that there's, like, you can pull through and then learn from some of these things, and you can, but at the same time, I mean, it destroys you. Like, the stress that I've had over the past few months, it's just been crazy, and now I'm in this state of, like, where the stress of the cheating, because they ended up breaking up, but the stress of all that has caused, you know, there's a sun glare. You know, the stress of that has caused, now I'm in, like, that fallout period of realization, and kind of, like, just now I'm alone, and there's no more, like, craziness. It's just isolation. And for me, I don't have children, and I don't really have a lot of friends, and I work from home, and my job is actually very, I don't really do a whole lot right now, so, but anyway, so back to, like, when should you leave? Like, I don't have the answer, and nobody has the answer, and you can reach out to friends, and you can reach out to counselors, but, you know, how many chances is too many chances? And you know, it just depends on the situation. There's no formula, but if someone continues to hurt you and continues to make the same mistakes over and over again, and that starts to affect your mental health, that starts to affect if you have children, your children's mental health, and that's and it's a continual thing. And I mean, I'm not saying, like, those people want to get better. They have demons. They don't want to be doing the things that they're doing. They don't want to be messing up and losing out on a good life. And it's sad, because what happens is you develop a complex. It's almost like Stockholm, but you develop a complex for those people, and, like, you want to be there for them, because number one, you love them. Number two, it's easy. Like my wife, if she wanted to come back, I would take her back right now, and I don't want to. You know, I want to find someone that loves me, that I could be with, and that I could trust again. But it's the path of least resistance, and that's why these women, especially with children, will stay in these toxic relationships that really just perpetuate their own suffering. And really, I mean, there's always hope of someone getting better, but I've seen enough of it. I mean, at a certain point, you just have to move on and hope the best for that person, regardless of how hard that is, you know. And there's always financials. The kids make it difficult, but you never know what the future could hold. And if you're not happy and things are just not getting better, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you gotta find a way out, you know. My mom found a way out, and then she got back into it. She just kept going back and forth, and now she's with a man, and she's happier. She's so happy, finally. And it took her a lot of years. I mean, unfortunately, and hopefully this isn't my case, but it took her 50 years, you know, or whatever, 55 years to find the right guy, right? I mean, that's, I'm not trying to do that, but I guess there's hope. And for those out there, women and men that are suffering from any kind of abuse and neglect, and it continues on. I mean, you can only do so much, and to separate yourself from the toxicity is the only way for that other person to realize what they could lose and possibly change. And number one, and number two, if you continue to stay in that toxic atmosphere, it's going to break you down and create burnout, and then you're going to be psychologically unstable, and you're not going to be able to be there for the people that you need to be there for, especially if you have children. And that's just, where I'm at on it. I feel bad. Those men, like even me, those are victims. But then the women, or the wives or whatever, they become the victims of the victims. So whether you've had, like me, like childhood trauma, and I'm the victim of that, but then that turns into PTSD, and then if that's not properly treated, that the people that I become involved with end up suffering from as victims. Fortunately for me, I was very driven, and I got better-ish. And nobody's perfect, and I wish that I would have gotten that chance with my wife, because it really, really would have been. She really would have had a great husband, and I could have been a great father, and I still will be, and I'm going to find somebody. Very hard in this COVID winter warlock world, but I have a lot to offer, and I'm trying to build my confidence, and I'm trying to meet people, and trying to network. I met people that kind of going through similar situations, and that always helps to talk with them. But yeah, if my mom hadn't left my dad, I probably would be dead or on drugs or right now. So I had some stability kind of scattered, sprinkled throughout my youth when she did date my stepdad for a number of years, and he was a stable person. She left him for somebody else that ended up being terrible. Anyway, so I guess my advice is that if you're in a toxic relationship, you give someone a second chance and a third chance, like probably maximum. That's really all there. Beyond that, I don't see why. I understand it. I understand it psychologically, like we talked about, staying for so many reasons. There's so many reasons to stay, but once it becomes to that point, when that point is. When that point is, and then they stay anyway. They do it for the kids, they do it for the financials, they do it because they don't have the strength, but they don't realize they have the strength. But you can get the strength. God can give you the strength. God can carry you. You have to let Him. You have to give it to Him. And I know that not been good at that, but I've been trying to work on that. But you got to give it to God, and you're going to end up in a better place. I don't know how many people have ended up in much better relationships, much better places, whether it was alone working on themselves, or there's a lot of people out there, and it sucks that we have to leave behind sometimes the people that we care about that are suffering, and we don't want to do that too, because we feel bad for them and we love them in those other ways. But I've just seen it too many times. I've been exposed to it too many times through people, my friends, through my own life, or through family members. I've seen the addiction. I get it. I felt bad for my dad. I felt bad, I feel bad for my family members that are addicted and alcoholics. And, you see my hand. I used to smoke cigarettes all day. I used to, tremble. When I quit drinking, I quit smoking, I started juicing, I'm doing crazy, well, not crazy lately, I've been eating like shit, but, I'm trying to do these juices and stuff like that, I stopped shaking and physically got a lot better, but mentally, I did not. A little bit, but you can just see how these thoughts and these ruminations, especially with my background, it's just a really bad situation for me. But anyway, I just want to let other people know out there, and I haven't reached this point yet, but I hope to have a report for you guys. assume that I met somebody, and that I'm happy, and I know that, like, oh, you shouldn't rush into stuff. But some people, can find that other person quickly and like rebound, and I'm hoping to be that person. And I'm not one to just, well, I am, but my wife was a 13-year rebound, right? So college, it's a lot easier in college, but anyway, so my plea to my friends and stuff is to assess the situation, listen to what you're being told, what your heart and mind is telling you, and sometimes you just have to go. You have to take a leap, and it's in the best interest sometimes of the people that we don't want to hurt to do that. And it hurts, and it's and it's going to take time, but with a support system and friends and being able to talk about it, finding healthy outlets like running and stuff, even though, oh my God, I've been like basically doing shit all, and like, but I met a friend, and I don't know, she like somehow inadvertently, indirectly motivated me to go running. I think it's just because like I felt, even though it's just friendship, but I felt cared about, and I haven't felt cared about in a long time because my wife was very, very mean to me for a long time. And because I felt cared about and understood, it kind of opened up something in me, and it was like I was able to sleep and be comfortable, because I realized, even though not that person, but the other people out there could love me or like me or give me that again. And it gave me, I guess you could say, hope. And hope is the most powerful thing for all of us suffering with this and having to make these hard decisions. So anyway, this is a video shot for a couple friends, because I've got a couple people going through some similar stuff. And God bless you guys, and yeah, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.